show you how to make some delicious recipes for a baby shower. It's going to be very easy and very delicious. So let's get to cooking. So we're going to start off with our meatballs. I am using Kirkland brand meatballs from Costco. This is a 6-pound bag of pre-cooked meatballs. They are seasoned Italian style. You can heat them up in your microwave, but we're going to do it in the oven. And the key to making these very delicious and taste kind of homemade is how we're going to season it and sauce it. So I have a few basic seasonings that we're going to use, and then grape jelly and barbecue sauce. I'm using Sweet Baby Ray's, but you could use the barbecue sauce of your choice. Okay, so we're going to start off with our sauce. And I like to start off with my sauce on a warm eye so that it'll be easier to mix it up carefully. And so because my big jug of Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce is 1 gallon, 160 ounces, I'm just going to go ahead and pour 20 ounces inside of a measuring cup. And then I'll probably just save this inside of a mason jar to use later this week. And then I can pour the rest of this container of barbecue sauce into my pan and not have to worry about trying to store this whole container in my refrigerator. So I love this OXO measuring cup because you can see the ounces from the top. You don't have to just use the side, but either one is fine. And this barbecue sauce, we're making our sauce to taste. So if you decide that you like more jelly, you can add it. If you decide you like more sauce, then you can add that. So that's a little bit over 20. So I'm going to put that in my refrigerator. And my eye is just on 2, just a low number, just to warm it up. Now I may not make both bags. I'm going to start with one and see how I like it. I'm only making meatballs for about 50 people. Each bag contains 140 meatballs. So on the container, the suggested serving is 5 meatballs, which would be for 28 people. So one bag should be enough. And I'm using the Welch's grape jelly. But because, you know, some people may come that didn't RSVP, I'd rather have a little extra than not enough. And don't worry, I'm going to get every little drop out. I'll get a slotted spatula to get the rest out. I'm going to go ahead and open up my second container. So I like 2 parts barbecue sauce to 1 part jelly. So each jelly jar is 30 ounces. So I'm using a total of 60 ounces of jelly and 140. So double would actually be 120 ounces, but because I'm doing more meatballs, I kind of just did my own math. So I'm going to scrape off the insides of that. So I'm just going to use a plastic spoon to help mix this up. So you can see my jelly is a little lumpy. That's okay. As it cooks and melts, it's going to melt together, and that's exactly what we want. So I have my sauce going, and now I'm just going to put in 1 bag of meatballs. So the instructions on the bag recommends to cook in 1 layer. That's almost 1 layer. And then you can see the nutrition facts here. 28 servings per container, serving size 5 meatballs. I was going to do 2 pans separately, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do 1.5 pans of meatballs. Because it's set cook in a single layer, I'm going to have to come in and give these a good stir to make sure they cook all the way through, but I'm willing to do that. So let me just get my second bag. just going to use a silicone ladle to help get it over, because this pan is pretty big and heavy. Then once I get a lot of the sauce out, then I can lift up my pan and just pour it over. Okay, so now we're gonna make our pasta salad. This is a super simple pasta salad my mom used to make when I was young. You can make so many different variations by changing some of the ingredients slightly. So I'm starting off with the tricolored rotini pasta. I just call it twirly noodles. You can use the tricolor kind or the kind that is just the standard pasta color. I am adding a number of fresh ingredients to give this dish a very nice bite to it. So I'm using red onion, cherry or grape tomatoes, fresh cucumbers, and the amount of each ingredient you use will be determined by how much pasta salad you want. I have 3 bottles of zesty Italian dressing. I'm also going to show you how to make a homemade dressing. If this isn't enough, then it's very simple to make a nice vinaigrette at home, and you can use whatever variety of Italian or Greek dressing you like. I'm also adding canned kidney beans. Kidney beans are high in protein, so 1/2 cup serving has 7 grams of protein. Now, this is going to be a big pasta salad, so no one's going to be eating a 1/2 cup of beans, but I still like to add it in. I also have some shaved cheese. This is from Costco. It contains Asiago, Parmesan, and Romano cheese. This was a $9 bag. And I also have hard salami. So you could use different types of beans. You could use different types of cheese. You could use pepperoni. You could use shrimp. The variations you could use to make this pasta salad are endless. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is start cleaning off my vegetables with vinegar and water. Even though these English cucumbers come wrapped up, and so are my tomatoes, I still give them a rinse off. We will be preparing the pasta salad with the skin on. The color is nice. The fiber is nice in the salad as well. And then once I get my vegetables under water, then I'll go ahead and put my pasta on the stove, and I'm going to boil it according to the ingredients on the box. So my pasta says boil a full box, 4 quarts. Add pasta, 4 quarts of water. Add pasta and salt. Cook. Stir occasionally for 9 to 11 minutes and drain. So that's what we'll do. Now, if there's any ingredient you see me using here that you don't like, you don't have to use it. So if you don't like onions, don't add it. If you don't like any beans, don't add it. Chickpeas are nice in this pasta salad because it gives a nice texture. You can absolutely make this vegan by leaving out the meat and the cheese. If you don't like tomatoes, you can buy the jarred roasted red peppers instead. They're nice and soft and go well in a salad. Or you could use bell peppers of any color. So just jump on the internet and you'll find so many variations. And you'll probably see me do a lot of other pasta salads on this channel as well. Okay, so now that we have our pasta seasoned, and we're going to let that cool down and do our vegetables. So the first thing I'm going to work with is my red onion. I'm just going to dice it into a small dice. I cut both ends off and then unpeel it. So I do a couple of slits across the onion half, just so that I can get a more uniform dice. And then I do some long slits the lengthwise of the onion half. The reason I take more time with cutting my onion here versus other recipes is because this is a pasta salad. The onions will be more noticed as opposed to when I cook my onions in other recipes and I don't give as much effort to how I cut them. So you can see the beautiful small dice that I'm getting here. Take your time with cutting and don't cut yourself and you'll be fine. So I'm adding my sliced onions to a bowl. And sliced onions are very strong and pungent and delicious. So I'm going to marinate them in this Italian dressing that contains vinegar, oil, and seasonings. And after a few minutes, half an hour to an hour, it will help soften the onions. So it will still be very tasty, but not as sharp in the salad, which is exactly what I want to make it more appealing to more people. So while the onions are sitting to the side in the marinade, the Italian dressing, I'm going to go ahead and cut my cucumbers up. These are English cucumbers. They come in plastic wrap. They don't have wax on the outside, but I still do wash them. I cut it in half lengthwise and then slice each half in pieces, kind of half moon shape. And then I'm going to add them to my marinating onions. Look at how beautiful this looks already, y'all. The colors are just amazing, and visually it's just an exciting and appealing dish. So I'm just going to toss my cucumbers in the marinade with my onions, and it looks like a lot of dressing, but remember we're going to add more veggies and then also add this whole thing to our pasta. So it's all going to work out in the end, so stay tuned. So these are cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. You can buy whichever you prefer. They even have them multicolored, like the yellow ones, and different varieties. So just after you wash them, dry them off and slice them in half. If you wanted to cut these into a small dice like your onions, you certainly could. It's your food, so you get to make the choice of how you want to present it. So next up, I have hard salami that I bought from Sam's Club. I'm just going to slice it in half, and then I decided to do nice little slivers of salami for bite-sized pieces, but you could certainly cut this up into different slices however you want to have it, like maybe bigger squares or bigger chunks. I like to do different things at different times just for the variety. So if you didn't want to use salami, you could use pepperoni, you could use deli turkey, you could use steamed shrimp. I'm just going to go ahead and add my salami to my vegetables and enjoy how beautiful it is. Now I have opened up my can of kidney beans and I'm giving them a rinse off to get all of the canned juices off, any extra added sodium. This happens to be a 40-ounce can. You could use any bean you like. I'm using canned beans because they are already soft and tender and have a nice shape to them. Sometimes when I cook beans on the stove, I cook them down so much that they're mushy, and so I didn't want that in my pasta salad. So I will use canned kidney beans or canned white beans, cannelli beans, or chickpeas. So my marinated cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, and salami, I added additional seasonings, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, and now I have mixed my chickpeas, some of them, to my pasta salad that has been cooling. I have actually 2 big bowls of this pasta salad, so I am mixing all of the ingredients together in a stainless steel bowl. Just giving it a light toss because I don't want to break up my pasta that is still a little bit warm. Next up, I'm going to add my Italian cheeses. This is Asiago Parmesan. I am going to use a gloved hand and just take a couple of handfuls because I have a lot. I personally don't want the cheese to just be on top, so I'm adding a couple of handfuls, maybe about 1.5 to 2 cups of cheese that I'm going to blend throughout the pasta so it will add the seasoning all throughout, because Parmesan Asiago are very flavorful cheeses actually. So I'm going to mix that through, and at the end, when I put this pasta salad in the presentation plastic bowl, I am going to add more cheese on top. So pasta, especially warm pasta, will absorb your salad dressing, so you want to be sure to add more dressing. You also want to taste it to see if you need to add more seasoning, more salt, pepper, oregano. If you need more salad dressing, you can create it using oregano, black pepper, sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, as well as red wine vinegar and olive oil. And you just want to give that a nice shake. You want to taste it to get the proportions you like in that salad dressing. So this is how the salad dressing looks on the side. I'm just shaking it up and then adding it to my pasta salad before I send it off to be served. Last up, I'm going to show you how to make this very simple fruit bowl. It's not really a fruit salad because I'm not adding anything special to it other than fresh fruit. So it is vegan and it is safe for anyone who is allergic to honey, for instance, because we're not adding that. So I'm starting off with a container of kiwi fruit and also a lime and red grapes and pineapple. So you can use the fruit of your choice. This is just what I used on this day. Very fresh, very tropical. And these are red seedless table grapes. I'm washing the grapes off with the vinegar and water, and then I'm pulling each grape off of the vine for our fruit bowl. Once you do that, you do want to dry off your grapes completely. Next up, I'm going to give my kiwi fruit a slice with a gloved hand. I am using a knife to peel the kiwi skin off. It's kind of fuzzy. Some people may use a spoon to do this, but it's just as easy for me to use a knife. And once you get it fully peeled, you're ready to slice it up. I'm just going to do half moon shaped slices, very similar to what I did for my cucumbers. Kiwi also come in gold kiwi, so that could be an interesting variation as well. But these green kiwi are very delicious and very beautiful. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut up my pineapple. I have some very ripe Caribbean pineapple that I bought from my local Sam's Club. So I slice the bottom and then I slice the top off. You'll notice the label says Caribbean Sweet. I would love to have one of these pineapples while I'm actually in the Caribbean. That would be awesome. So I am just peeling the skin off, trying to get my knife behind all of those brown eyes so that I peel those off as well. But I don't want to cut off too much of the pineapple flesh. So that's the tricky part. Get the skin off, but keep as much pineapple flesh just so you're not throwing the delicious fruit away unnecessarily. I have a plastic bag from the grocery store that I repurpose. So as I'm peeling my fruit, I get rid of my cut pieces in that little baggie, and then I can place it in my trash can later. So I'm just spinning the pineapple with one hand and then slicing off the eyes very thinly so that I don't have excess fruit that I throw away. So I just move my pineapple over to a whole new clean cutting board so none of the scraps get in the salad. You'll notice the core in the center of the pineapple, so I'm cutting around that. The shape you use for your pineapple salad is completely up to you. You can do different shapes at different times. It will be delicious as long as the pineapple itself is delicious. And so that last piece was the fruit core that I tossed away. Now I noticed for this slice, it looked like a little bit of the core was still there. So I'm gonna do a very thin slice just to make sure that piece isn't hard for my guests to chew. And so for these bigger pieces of pineapple, I'm just gonna slice them into wedges that you see here. This is all for the decorative purposes in my fruit bowl. The two smaller pieces, I'm just going to cut them into chunks. You can make your chunks as big or as small as you want. I like to do nice fork-sized bites so it's easier for the guests to eat, but that is certainly up to you. Fresh pineapple is definitely better than canned pineapple in this type of fruit bowl. So I'm adding my grapes to my plastic bowl. This is a plastic bowl from Sam's Club that is 5 quarts big. So I'm adding my diced pineapple and my kiwi fruit with my grapes to make the base of the salad. And so now I'm just giving that a gentle toss. I'm not adding anything else to flavor this like vanilla pudding or honey because I want it to be completely vegan and a fresh option for people who want that. But there are a lot of variations for making the traditional fruit salad, but this is more of just a tossed fruit bowl. So once I have all of my fruit in the middle mixed up, I am just adding my pineapple wedges around the perimeter of my bowl. I figured it'd be nice presentation. It'd be easy for a guest to grab with the tongs on the buffet table. So for the final step of this fruit bowl, I wiped off my pineapple cutting board just so I could slice up my lime. This is a beautiful Persian lime. I'm just going to cut it in half and then cut it into wedges so that I can squeeze it over the fruit to prevent the fruit from oxidizing any amount that it may, but it also adds a nice tangy flavor, so I enjoy adding a bit of lime. From my local Sam's Club, I also bought a tray of 60 seasonal cookies for $20, so that was a nice help. Less I had to do for this baby shower. So the next day I pulled out all of my dishes. My meatballs are cool. We will reheat them at the venue. I have 2 5-quart bowls of Italian pasta salad with cheese and salami, and then I do have a 5-quart bowl of my tropical fruit that I set up and drizzled with lime. And then of course I have delicious King Hawaiian rolls. So y'all, this was a nice amount of dishes to make for a big group of people, and other family members are bringing other dishes, so you don't have to worry about how hard it will be to cook for a baby shower, because with my recipes you can do it pretty simply the night before. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel.